On this episode, I'm talking about why permissive parenting is gentle parenting. Let's go. So I've been getting a lot of comments because I've been talking about how gentle parenting doesn't work. And a lot of the comments that I'm receiving are gentle parent, what you're describing is permissive parenting, not gentle parenting. And this is what I have to say. Gentle parenting a lot of the time becomes permissive parenting. Let me explain. So there are 4 different types of parenting styles that based off of, and there's a 2x2 quadrant, right? So based off of high expectations, low expectations, high warm and fuzzies, low warm and fuzzies. If you are high on expectations, but low on warm and fuzzies, I usually refer to you as a militant parent. If you are low on both, I refer to you as an absent parent. If you are high on both, high expectations within the context of the warm and fuzzies, I call you bright spot parenting or authoritative parenting. Then, if you are high on warm and fuzzies but low on expectations, that's permissive parenting, or what I refer to as fluff parenting. Now, those comments keep saying is like, what you're describing is permissive parenting, that low expectations, high warm and fuzzies. And people are, and I don't think you're necessarily wrong. How I explain it in my workshop that's typically free and online, titled Gentle Parenting Doesn't Work, is that I talk about, I think gentle parents have a great intent. It starts off in that bright spot parenting quadrant, that high expectations, high warm and fuzzies. I think gentle parenting kind of starts off, the intentions of it fall into that quadrant. And then what I kind of leave with is like, well, then why don't we just call it authoritative parenting? Why are the people that are advocating for gentle parenting, high expectations within the context of the warm and fuzzies, why not just call it authoritative parenting? And I hear people are like, lay people don't know the difference between authoritarian parenting and authoritative parenting. And authoritarian parenting is the high expectations, low warm and fuzzies, the militant parents, and those are not associated with great outcomes. But why not just call it authoritative parenting? Anyways, back to so gentle parenting, I think the intention is it falls in the authoritative parenting quadrant, which is good. But then what happens is parents get stressed out and they get overwhelmed and they're busy above and beyond all belief. And then what happens is their ability to maintain those high expectations and respond in a caring, loving way and setting those boundaries and all of those things, everything that gentle parenting is kind of focusing in on, like focusing on the feelings. Your child is more of your partner. Let's get rid of rewards and punishments because we don't want them to do things. We want them to develop internal motivation, those kind of things. I get it. But then what happens is when parents are stressed and overwhelmed, their parenting ability significantly shifts, and there's a waterfall effect, and then that gentle parenting becomes permissive parenting. And some of you are like, what's your evidence for it? Well, my evidence is from this long line of research that looks at parenting styles and the developmental outcomes that are associated with them. We know that if you are going to parent your child using high expectations within the context of the warm and fuzzies, authoritative parenting, your child is much more likely to be comfortable in relationships, achievement-oriented, self-reliant, socially responsible, knows right from wrong, and cooperative. Those are all characteristics that I think you and I can agree we want our children to possess. And that's what research shows, high expectations within the context of the warm and fuzzies. Now, permissive parenting is associated with children who are more impulsive, aggressive, self-centered, rebellious, aimless, dependent, and lack a desire to achieve. And I don't know how many of you guys have been in high schools recently, but the number one term, this descriptor of high schoolers is apathy. They are so apathetic. And so I think there's evidence to say that they have been parented using gentle parenting, which I get, but it is permissive parenting because they're showing the developmental outcomes associated with permissive parenting: lacking desire to achieve, being self-centered, being impulsive, being aggressive. We're seeing disrespect at an all-time increases. So for all of you that are like, Dr. Mata, no, it's not gentle parenting. It's you're describing permissive parenting. I think they're one and the same because parents are too burned out to do all of the things that kind of started, the idea of gentle parenting, but then just do authoritative parenting. Because when I look at research and look at, okay, what is gentle parenting? The big three things that come out are: we're going to avoid punishments and rewards, we're going to focus in on feelings, and we're going to treat it as a partnership. Well, then you're going to have, if that is what you are doing, then you are going to have developmental outcomes for your child that are similar to permissive parenting. And so that's why I say a lot of the time, gentle parenting is permissive parenting. And some of you can do it well, and that is awesome and that is great. But for the vast majority of parents who don't have a PhD in clinical child psychology, who can't regulate their emotions because they were never taught, and who don't have angel children, gentle parenting is not going to work for you. So you all can come at me as much as you want, but the research doesn't lie. The science doesn't lie. Authoritative parenting, high expectations within the context of the warm and fuzzies, is where we need to be parenting from. And if we parent this way, and I talk about it all of the time in my number 2 parenting book, it's all about authoritative parenting practices. We are going to see the youth mental health crisis significantly drop because they're going to be confident. They're going to be socially responsible. They're going to be comfortable in relationships. They're going to want to achieve. They're going to have initiative, because here's another statistic for you all. 60% of businesses have fired Gen Z employees within a few months of hiring them because they lack motivation. They don't know how to dress. They don't behave appropriately. They are not motivated, and their communication skills are not there. They're poor. Again, those all seem like similar characteristics to permissive parenting. So bottom line, let's start doing authoritative parenting. Let's start using that word because that's the parenting style that has the best developmental outcomes. Let's get rid of gentle parenting because it doesn't work. Just call it authoritative parenting. Do that. Responsive parenting. It's authoritative parenting. Respectful parenting. Authoritative parenting. Do that. And by doing that, by setting high expectations within the context of the warm and fuzzy, you and me are going to be throat punching this youth mental health crisis.